United States Supreme Court to hear TikTok's appeal over forced sale law escalating national security debate. In a landmark development, the United States Supreme Court has agreed to hear an appeal filed by TikTok and its China-based parent company ByteDance challenging a law that demands the sale of the popular short video app by January 19, 2025, or imposes a nationwide ban. The case has become a focal point in the ongoing debate over national security, digital privacy, and US-China relations. The law in question, pushed forward by the US Congress and supported by national security officials, stems from long-standing concern about TikTok's ownerships by ByteDance, a company headquartered in Beijing. Lawmakers argue that the Chinese government could compel ByteDance to share American user data or influence the platform's content, posing a potential threat to US national security. TikTok has strongly denied these allegations, asserting that the app operates independently of Chinese government control. The company has also pointed to its efforts to address security concerns, including its $1.5 billion initiative to store US user data on servers managed by Oracle, a US-based company. Despite these measures, critics remain skeptical, citing China's national intelligence law, which requires companies to cooperate with the state when requested. ByteDance argues that the legislation mandating the sale of TikTok violates constitutional rights, including free speech and due process. In its appeal to the Supreme Court, the company contends that the US government's actions represent an overreach of executive power, jeopardizing the rights of companies to operate in the US without interference. The case arrives at a time when relations between the US and China remain strained over trade, technology, and national security. The decisions by the Supreme Court to hear TikTok's appeal underscored the broader implications of the case, which could set a precedent for how the US regulates foreign-owned technology platforms. If TikTok is forced to sell, it could trigger a wave of similar actions against other Chinese-owned tech companies operating in the US. Critics warned that this could lead to regulatory measures by China against US firms, further tensions between the two economic superpowers. Proponents of the legislation argue the banning or forcing the sale of TikTok is a necessary step to protect Americans from foreign surveillance and disinformation campaign. The Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, which oversees national security risks, has been particularly vocal about TikTok's potential vulnerabilities. Opponents, however, see the move as a politically motivated overreaction. Civil liberties advocates and legal experts have expressed concern about the precedent it could set for restricting access to apps and online platforms based on ownership. Some argue that the ban would amount to censorship, limiting Americans' ability to freely access information and entertainment. A deadline looms. With the January 19, 2025 deadline fast approaching, the stakes are high. If ByteDance does not comply with the sales mandate, TikTok faces the prospect of being banned outright in the United States, a move that would disrupt millions of users and thousands of United States-based content creators and businesses that rely on the apps for engagements and income. The Supreme Court's decisions to hear the case reflect the gravity of the issues at hand, and it could determine the future of one of the most popular social media platforms in the world. The case also raises critical questions about how democratic governments navigate the intersections of technology, national security, and individual freedom in an era of increasing geopolitical competitions. Observers and stakeholders both in the United States and abroad will be closely watching the development in the coming month. For ByteDance, the Supreme Court ruling could determine not only TikTok's future in the US but also the broader trajectory of how Chinese tech companies are treated on the global stage. So this is me, Tabanda, signing off. Stay tuned for more news. Desi TV USA, DTVNN, and our OTT platform DTV Flex, where you can access to over 3,000 channels. So stay tuned and stay with us.